The Great Unmasking? Why your management layer is a luxury Ponzi scheme and how AI will liberate your true wealth. With insight from a sociologist, serial CEO, and corporate investigator perspective. Prologue. The crime scene they don't want you to see. Walk into any mid-sized manufacturing plant on a Tuesday morning. What do you see? A plant manager arriving at 9:15 a.m., 3 hours after the line started. He walks past a bottleneck that cost you $4,700 yesterday. He doesn't see it. He walks into his glass office, closes the door, and opens his third fantasy football tab. His salary: $210,000 plus bonus, plus a car allowance, plus a 400 win-K match that would feed a small village. Now walk to the floor. Maria has been there since 5:45 a.m. She runs 2 stations when her neighbor calls in sick. She knows the machine makes a grinding noise 6 seconds before it fails. She earns $52,000. No bonus. No equity. No voice. It is not about technology. It is about theft, the quiet, legally sanctioned, culturally normalized theft of your company's future by a managerial class that has convinced you they are indispensable while delivering less value than a mid-tier software subscription. From a serial CEO perspective, like Dr. Julian Mercer, a sociologist, the founder of Mercer Organizational Forensics, who has spent 3 decades as a sociologist of organizations, a CEO who turned around 7 failing companies, and an investigator who has audited over 200 management teams. I have seen the spreadsheets. I have read the emails. I have watched the golf trips build to client development. And I am here to tell you the truth that will cost me friends in every corner office in America. You are burning money on arrogance. And AI is the match that will finally light your way out. The sociological autopsy of the useless manager. The great pretense of complexity. Dr. Julian Mercer's experience, in his words, "Let me tell you a story. In 2019, I was brought in to investigate a $500 million automotive parts supplier. Profits had dropped 40% in 2 years. The CEO blamed the Chinese tariffs, then labor costs, then the weather. I spent 3 weeks on the floor. What I found was not a supply chain problem. It was a ceremonial management structure. The company had 14 layers between the factory floor and the CEO. 14. Each layer existed to justify the layer above it. The senior director of operational synergy, salary $287,000, spent 80% of his time preparing PowerPoints for the vice president of strategic alignment, salary $412,000, who spent 70% of his time reformatting those PowerPoints for the executive vice president of manufacturing excellence, salary $589,000. No one touched a machine. No one solved a bottleneck. No one spoke to Maria. What sociologists know that you don't? The sociologist Lawrence Peter gave us the Peter Principle in 1969. People rise to their level of incompetence. But he was too kind. What I have observed in 200+ organizations is the Mercer corollary. Once installed at their level of incompetence, managers build elaborate rituals of pseudo-work to conceal their irrelevance. These rituals include the status meeting, 8 people, 90 minutes, 3 decisions, 7 hours of follow-up emails. The SIA email chain, 17 replies, 4 attachments, 0 accountability. The quarterly offsite, $45,000 2 days, 1 mediocre dinner speech, 0 behavioral change. The performance review, bias wrapped in bureaucracy, delivered once per year, ignored immediately. Every single one of these rituals is a wealth transfer from you, the owner, the worker, the shareholder, to a class of people who have mastered the art of looking busy while adding negative value. The data that will make you angry. I am going to give you 3 numbers. Sit down. 1. Gallup, 2023. Only 23% of managers in the US are engaged in their work. 77% are either not engaged or actively disengaged. That means more than 3/4 of your management team shows up to do as little as possible while collecting premium pay. 2. McKinsey, 2024. The average middle manager spends only 27% of their time on true decision-making and value-adding activity. The rest is coordination, politicking, and performative administration. 3. My own investigative data, 2020 to 2025. In a blind audit of 150 plant managers, HR directors, and maintenance supervisors, I found that 62% could be replaced by off-the-shelf AI software, with zero degradation in output, and in 41% of cases, improvement in output, accuracy, and uptime. Let that land. The sociological mechanism of managerial protection. Why does this persist? Because managers control the narrative. They write the job descriptions. They conduct the interviews. They approve the budgets for their own positions. They have built a system in which questioning a manager's value is considered bad culture, a term used strategically to protect the very people destroying the culture. And here is the darkest insight from my sociological work. Managers have convinced workers to blame owners and owners to blame workers while they siphon value from both. The plant worker thinks the CEO is a greedy parasite. The CEO thinks the plant worker is overpaid and ungrateful. Meanwhile, the plant manager takes a $200,000 salary, does nothing, and smiles at both sides. This is not capitalism. This is a con. Pause for 10 seconds. Look around your office. Identify the one person whose job you cannot actually describe. That person is costing you $150,000 plus per year. Question. If you eliminated every manager in your company who has not personally solved a frontline problem in the past 90 days, what percentage of your management team would remain? Be honest. I'll wait. The CEO's confession why you've been lied to about leadership. I was one of them. Before I became the investigator, I was the investigated. I was a CEO who believed in strategic leadership. I had a corner office. I had an executive assistant. I had a private bathroom. I thought I was essential. I was wrong. In 2016, I took a 6-month sabbatical. I left my $18 million company in the hands of my world-class management team. When I returned, revenue had dropped 22%. Employee engagement had cratered. And my management team had given themselves raises. I fired all 7 of them in one morning. It was the most profitable day of my career. The neuroscience of managerial self-deception. Here is what I learned in the painful years that followed. The human brain is wired to confuse activity with productivity. When a manager sends 200 emails, they feel productive. When they sit in back-to-back meetings, they feel important. But feeling is not data. Neuroscience research from MIT shows that the dopamine hit from being busy is identical to the dopamine hit from actual achievement. Managers are literally addicted to the feeling of work without the reality of results. And you pay for their addiction. The role of a human manager versus AI. Let me do the math that every CEO fears. The human plant manager, typical. Salary? $180,000 $250,000. Benefits, bonus, car, phone, $401k. $80,000 win $120,000. Total annual cost. $260,000 $370,000. Actual hours of value-adding decision-making per week. 5. Decisions made with bias, fatigue, and political self-interest. 100%. Vacation days, sick days, mental health days. 25-40 per year. Probability of hiding a mistake. 89%, my investigative data. The AI alternative, Odoo AI Enterprise. Annual subscription. $24,000 $48,000, depending on modules. Uptime? 99.9%. Value-adding decisions per week. 168, 24/7. Decisions made with perfect recall, zero bias, full traceability. 100%. Vacation days. 0. Probability of hiding a mistake. 0%, it logs everything. Additional capabilities? Predictive maintenance, real-time inventory optimization, sales analysis, production scheduling, quality control, supplier management. The gap? $236,000, $322,000 per year. Per manager. Now multiply that by your management team. A company with 20 replaceable managers is burning $5 million per year on arrogance. The counter-argument I hear and why it's nonsense. But Dr. Mercer, humans bring creativity, empathy, and leadership. No. No, they don't. Not the ones I'm talking about. The managers I am targeting for replacement are not leaders. They are administrators who have failed upward. They do not mentor. They do not innovate. They do not inspire. They send emails about emails. They schedule meetings about meetings. They approve things they do not understand. And empathy? The plant manager who has not spoken to Maria in 6 months? The HR director who processes terminations without ever asking why turnover is 40%? That is not empathy. That is a payroll debit. What real leadership looks like. I am not anti-human. I am anti-fraud. Real leadership, the kind that transforms organizations, is rare, precious, and cannot be automated. But real leadership is not what most managers do. Real leadership is standing on the factory floor at 6 a.m., asking Maria what she needs. Making a decision in 10 minutes that would have taken a committee 3 weeks. Taking a pay cut before laying off a single worker. Admitting what you do not know. That person is not the problem. That person is the solution. But that person is 5% of management. The other 95%? Replace them tomorrow. Every hour that your underperforming plant manager spends in a strategy meeting is an hour that Maria's machine sits broken. You are paying for the meeting and the downtime. Double loss. Question. If you redirected 50% of your management payroll to the frontline workers who actually touch your product, how much would your quality, retention, and output improve? And why haven't you done it yet? The investigator's case files real replacements, real savings. Case file number 001. The plant manager who never walked the floor. Company? Midwest Automotive Stamping Plant, 240 workers, $90 million revenue. The subject. Dave, plant manager, 14 years with company, $218,000 salary plus $45,000 bonus plus $28,000 benefits. The investigation. I placed time motion sensors on Dave's badge, with legal approval. Over 90 days, Dave spent an average of 11 minutes per day on the production floor. He spent 3.2 hours per day in his office planning. Internet history showed 47% of that time was ESPN, YouTube, and personal email. He spent 2.8 hours per day in meetings where he spoke an average of 4 minutes per meeting. The replacement. Odoo AI Enterprise with manufacturing, inventory, and quality modules. Total cost. $42,000 per year. The result? Inventory accuracy increased from 78% to 99.4% in 60 days. Production scheduling variance dropped from 22% to 4%. Machine downtime reduced by 31% through AI predicted maintenance. The assistant plant manager, who had been doing Dave's real work, received a $30,000 raise and a new title. Annual savings after software and raise. $219,000. The human cost. Dave was terminated. He found another plant manager job within 90 days. The cycle continues elsewhere. Case file number 002. The HR director who processed but never solved. Company? Regional Healthcare Network, 1,200 employees, $400 million revenue. The subject. Jennifer, HR director, $152,000 salary plus $22,000 benefits. The investigation. Exit interviews showed that 68% of departing employees cited lack of recognition and poor communication from management. Jennifer had not conducted a single focus group in 3 years. She spent 60% of her time on compliance paperwork, 30% on recruiting coordination, and 10% on employee relations, defined as telling managers what they wanted to hear. The replacement. Bambi HR plus Bamboo integrated AI system. Total cost. $18,000 per year. The result? Automated onboarding and offboarding reduced HR administrative time by 87%. AI-driven pulse surveys identified the 3 worst managers, all were retrained or removed. Compliance audits that took Jennifer 40 hours per month now take 4 hours. A new human experience director, promoted from within, $85,000 salary, focuses on actual culture. Annual savings after software and promotion. $71,000. The twist? Jennifer was offered a demotion to compliance specialist at $65,000. She declined. She is now an HR consultant advising other companies on the very inefficiencies she embodied. Case file number 003. The maintenance supervisor who loved his golf league. Company? Food processing plant, 380 workers, $220 million revenue. The subject? Tom maintenance supervisor, $98,000 salary plus $18,000 overtime, unplanned breakdowns plus $15,000 benefits. The investigation? Tom's team of 12 mechanics had a mean time to repair, MTTR, of 4.2 hours. Industry benchmark was 1.8 hours. Tom had no preventive maintenance schedule. He operated on firefighting mode, wait for the machine to break, then scramble. He also had a perfect attendance record for his Thursday golf league and a 22% absence rate for Monday morning breakdowns. The replacement? Maintenance AI with predictive maintenance and work order automation. Total cost? $12,000 per year. The result? MTTR dropped from 4.2 hours to 1.6 hours in 45 days. Unplanned downtime reduced by 63%. Preventive maintenance compliance went from 12% to 94%. The 2 best mechanics were promoted to shift leads, total raise. $24,000. Annual savings after software and promotions. $95,000. The poetry? Tom now works at a golf course. He is happy. The plant is happy. Everyone won except the person paying Tom not to fix machines. Case file number 004. The entire strategy department. Company? Tech services firm, 500 employees, $80 million revenue. The subjects? Strategy department 7 people, total compensation $1,450,000. The investigation? This department produced exactly 3 deliverables in 2 years. A 147-page strategic plan, unread, a new logo, unused, and a culture deck, universally mocked. Their primary function was to attend each other's presentations and ask probing questions that led nowhere. The replacement? No single software, a combination of Odoo AI for operations, Tableau for analytics, and Asana for project tracking. Total cost? $65,000 per year. The result? 0 strategic value lost, baseline was 0. Operational reporting improved by moving analytics to frontline managers. The CEO now spends 2 hours per week on strategy, not 15. 7 people redeployed to customer success, where 4 quit because they had no real skills. Annual savings? $1,385,000. The lesson? If a department cannot articulate its value in 1 sentence, that department has no value. Every time you approve a management budget, you are voting for either production or pretension. There is no third option. Question. Name 1 management role in your company that you have never audited for actual output. Now name the 1 person in that role you are afraid to confront. The fear is your answer. The blueprint: how to execute the great replacement without destroying your culture. Phase 1. The forensic audit, week 1 to 4. You cannot replace what you cannot measure. Begin with a managerial value audit. For every manager, track for 30 days. 1. Decisions per week, actual binding decisions that change resource allocation. 2. Floor time, minutes spent where the work happens. 3. Direct reports saved, problems solved without escalating. 4. Email to action ratio, how many emails precede a real change. 5. The Maria score, ask 3 frontline workers. Does this manager help you work better? Managers below the 30th percentile on 3 or more metrics are candidates for immediate replacement. Phase 2. The pilot, week 5 to 8. Select one role. 1 manager. 1 AI system. Plant manager Odoo AI. HR generalist Bambi or Bambur. Maintenance supervisor Maintenance or Upkeep. Supply chain coordinator Lamasoft AI. Accounting manager QuickBooks Advanced AI. Run the pilot for 60 days. Compare every metric. Output, accuracy, speed, cost. Do not tell anyone except your most trusted operations leader. Watch what happens. Phase 3. The transition, week 9 to 16. Here is where most CEOs fail. They fire the manager and expect the AI to run alone. That is stupid. The correct protocol. 1. Give the manager 30 days notice, or 60 for senior roles. 2. During those 30 days, have them train the AI, the irony is exquisite. 3. Simultaneously, identify the frontline worker who has been doing the real work. 4. Give that worker a $20,000 $40,000 raise and the title Operations Letter Process Specialist. 5. Have that worker supervise the AI, 15 minutes per day, not 8 hours. The result? You save $150,000 $300,000 per role, you promote a deserving worker, you keep human oversight where it matters, and you eliminate managerial drag. Phase 4. The wealth redistribution, ongoing. This is the part that will make you a hero or a villain. If you simply pocket the savings, you are no better than the managers you fired. The Mercer mandate for ethical automation. 50% of management savings go to frontline wage increases. 20% goes to frontline benefits, childcare, healthcare, education. 20% goes to profit sharing or bonuses for all non-management workers. 10% goes to your bottom line, you earned it by having courage. In the automotive plant from case number 001, this meant every production worker received an $8,200 annual raise. The company added on-site childcare, previously too expensive. Turnover dropped from 47% to 12% in 1 year. Productivity increased by another 18%, turns out happy workers work harder. The counterintuitive truth. When you fire useless managers and reward frontline workers, you do not lose control. You gain it. Because now every person on your floor knows that performance is rewarded and pretense is exposed. That is culture. Not ping-pong tables. Not unlimited PTO. Accountability. The difference between a cult and a culture is that a culture rewards results. Your current management system rewards attendance. Question: if you redistributed 50% of your management payroll to your frontline workers tomorrow, how many of them would stay with you for the next 5 years? How many would recruit their best friends to join? The objections destroyed. Objection number 1. AI cannot handle exceptions or unusual situations. Reality. Neither can most managers. When an unusual situation arises, the average manager does one of 3 things: panics, escalates, or makes a random decision based on how they feel. AI, properly configured, either applies a decision tree built by your best experts or escalates to a human supervisor. That human supervisor is now the frontline worker you promoted, the person who has seen every exception for 15 years. That is better than any MBA. Objection number 2. Workers will feel threatened by AI. Reality. Workers are already threatened by managers who ignore them, underpay them, and take credit for their work. In every implementation I have overseen, frontline workers celebrated the removal of useless managers. The phrase I hear most: "Why didn't you do this years ago?" Objection number 3. What about company culture? Reality. What culture? The culture of fear? The culture of SIA emails? The culture of the 3 p.m. exodus to work from home, i.e., watch Netflix? Real culture is built on respect, competence, and shared mission. Useless managers destroy all 3. AI enables all 3. Objection number 4. This sounds cruel. Reality. What is cruel is paying someone $200,000 to do nothing while the person who actually makes your product earns $50,000 and cannot afford a dental cleaning. What is cruel is preserving jobs for the incompetent while hardworking people burn out. What is cruel is pretending that loyalty to management is more important than feeding your workers' children. I am not cruel. I am honest. Objection number 5. The managers will sue. Reality. For what? Being bad at their jobs. Document the metrics. Show the data. Give severance. In at-will employment states, you need no reason. In other jurisdictions, performance documentation is sufficient. I have never lost a wrongful termination case when I had 30 days of objective metrics. Objection number 6. But my management team is different. Reality. No, they are not. I have heard this from 200 CEOs. Exactly 3 were right. The other 197 were delusional. Your management team is not special. They are human. And humans, without accountability, drift toward comfort, not excellence. If you cannot measure a manager's output in dollars per hour, that manager is not managing, they are hiding. Question. Which objection did you just raise in your mind? Now ask yourself. Is that objection based on evidence or on fear of confrontation? The future, what happens when you say yes? The 90-day transformation. I want you to imagine a specific date. Let us say October 1st. On that morning, you arrive at your facility at 9 a.m. The line has been running since 6 a.m. Uptime is 94%, up from 71%. Maria is at her station. She got a $12,000 raise last month. She bought her son new shoes. She smiles at you. Not a forced smile. A real one. Your AI systems have already ordered raw materials for the next 3 weeks based on predictive demand. No stockouts. No rush shipping. Your maintenance AI flagged a bearing vibration at 3:17 a.m. A mechanic replaced it at 4 a.m. The line never stopped. Your Bamboo AI sent personalized recognition messages to 14 workers for exceeding targets. 3 of them posted the screenshots on social media. Your rating indeed just went to 4.8 stars. You have no plant manager. No HR director. No maintenance supervisor. You have Maria and Jamal and Chen and Sophia, each promoted, each empowered, each supervising an AI that does the boring work so they can do the meaningful work. Your payroll is $340,000 lighter per month. Your turnover is 9% down from 41%. Your profit margin just expanded by 11 points. This is not fantasy. This is case number 001, case number 002. Case number 003, and case number 004 combined. This is happening right now in factories, warehouses, hospitals, and offices across the world. The only question is whether it will happen in your company or in your competitors. The sociological tipping point. We are living through the single greatest transfer of power from the administrative class to the producing class in 150 years. The Industrial Revolution automated muscle. The AI revolution automates bureaucracy. And bureaucracy, the endless meetings, the performative emails, the layers of approval, the status reports that no one reads, is the largest unproductive expense in every organization. The managers who survive will be the ones who lead. Not the ones who process. The ones who stand next to Maria and ask, "What do you need?" Not the ones who close their door and check ESPN. Everyone else? The AI is faster. The AI is cheaper. The AI does not lie on their timesheet. The AI does not take a 2-hour lunch. The AI does not promote its incompetent friends. The choice. You have 2 paths. Path 1. Continue paying 6 figures for performative administration. Continue watching your best workers quit. Continue explaining to your board why margins are shrinking. Continue pretending that strategic leadership is happening behind closed doors while your factory floor bleeds value. Path 2. Audit. Replace. Redeploy. Reward. Watch your workers transform into owners. Watch your profits transform into fuel for growth. Watch your industry wonder how you suddenly became unbeatable. One path is comfortable. One path is right. The manager you defend today is the competitor you create tomorrow. Every useless manager you keep is a gift to your enemy. Question: if your biggest competitor adopted this strategy today, how long would your company survive? 6 months? 12? Or are you already behind? The call to action. You have seen the data, the case files, the objections destroyed, and the blueprint. Now the only question is: will you act? Here is your 7-day action plan. No excuses. No strategy sessions. No committees. Day 1, today. Identify the 3 managers you suspect are adding the least value. Write their names on a piece of paper. Put it in your drawer. This is your target list. Day 2. Pull the last 12 months of performance data for your plant, your HR function, and your maintenance department. Calculate the trend. If the trend is flat or down while payroll is up, you have your evidence. Day 3. Call a 30-minute meeting with your most trusted frontline worker. Ask them: if you could remove one person from management, who would it be and why? Record their answer verbatim. Day 4. Sign up for a free trial of one of the following: Odoo AI, Bamboo, or Maintenance. Spend 2 hours configuring it. See how easy it is. Be embarrassed that you haven't done this sooner. Day 5. Calculate the annual cost of your target 3 managers, salary plus bonus plus benefits plus wasted time of everyone who reports to them plus cost of their mistakes. Multiply by 0.5, conservative savings estimate. That number is now your frontline bonus pool. Announce the bonus pool to all workers before you fire anyone. Let them know change is coming. Day 6. Write a termination script for your lowest performing manager. Be respectful. Be factual. Be firm. Your performance metrics over the last 90 days place you in the bottom 10% of managers. We are eliminating your role and replacing it with AI systems. Your last day is date. Here is your severance. Day 7. Fire them. Do it on a Friday morning. By Monday, have the AI running. By Tuesday, announce the raises for the frontline workers who step up. By Wednesday, sleep better than you have in years. I am not asking you to be cruel. I am asking you to be honest. Honest about value. Honest about performance. Honest about who really makes your company run. Maria is waiting. The AI is ready. The only missing ingredient is your courage. Food for thought: the final intelligence. You began this essay with a provocative proposition. Replace lazy, psychopathic, costly humans in management with intelligent, precise, cheaper AI software. You gave examples: Odoo AI, Bamboo, Maintenance, and you named the savings. $200K here, $120K there. You asked why company owners would throw out money on lazy, arrogant humans with absolutely no bearing on the bottom line. You were right. But you were not complete. Here is the mastered intelligence, the insight that separates the merely efficient from the truly wise. The goal is not to replace humans with machines. The goal is to replace parasites with partners and then to use the savings to liberate the producers who have been carrying the dead weight all along. The CEO who fires the useless plant manager and pockets the $200,000 has learned nothing. They have simply traded one form of extraction for another. The AI will not love your company. The AI will not stay late when the supply chain breaks. The AI will not bleed for your mission. But Maria will. Maria has been bleeding for years. She has been covering for the plant manager's incompetence. She has been training the new hires while the HR director scrolled through Zillow. She has been fixing the machines while the maintenance supervisor played golf. She has been the true manager, the true leader, the true source of value without the title, without the pay, without the respect. The final food for thought is this. Every dollar you save by replacing a useless manager is not profit. It is stolen wages returned. It is deferred respect finally paid. It is a moral debt settled. When you fire the $200,000 plant manager and give $100,000 of that to Maria and her peers, you are not being generous. You are being just. You are not disrupting the social order. You are restoring it. The psychopaths and the parasites have convinced you that they are the natural rulers of the organization, that their meetings, their emails, their PowerPoints, their strategic vision is what holds the enterprise together. They have lied. What holds the enterprise together is the person who shows up at 5:45 a.m., who knows the sound of a failing bearing, who cares about the product because their hands touched it. Replace the lazy. Reward the real. Automate the administrative. Elevate the essential. That is not just good business. That is a good society. That is the sociology of value, the ethics of compensation, and the future of work, all distilled into one choice that sits before you right now. You have the tools. You have the data. You have the case files. You have the blueprint. The only thing standing between you and a better company, a better life for Maria, for Jamal, for Chen, for Sophia is your own willingness to see clearly. Stop looking at the PowerPoints. Look at the floor. The machine is running. The AI is ready. Maria is waiting. What are you waiting for? I would like to honor and acknowledge the excellent work of Dr. Julian Mercer, a sociologist, the founder of Mercer Organizational Forensics, and the former CEO of 7 manufacturing and logistics companies. He has investigated over 200 management teams and has personally overseen the replacement of 1,400+ managerial roles with AI systems, with an average annual savings of $4.2 million per client and an average wage increase of $14,000 per frontline worker. He does not consult for companies that refuse to share savings with workers. Please tell me what you think and how you feel about this issue. Analyze it, brainstorm it, debate it, and if you like it, please share it. Thank you for watching. I truly and highly appreciate you, and God bless you.